So he's currently riding 2 for 2 for me in the non-fiction stakes, and I am of course talking about the wonderful espionage writer Len Deighton, but I'm not talking about an espionage book. Well, I mean, I suppose there might be a little bit in there, but as you know, I recently did a video on his wonderful first book, at least chronologically, on the Second World War called Blitzkrieg, and this time I have read another Corker, which is this one here, Fighter, the true story of the Battle of Britain. And yeah, it was pretty darn good. Hello everybody, welcome to and welcome back to my channel Book Time with Elvis with me, Mark, and I hope you're doing very well. And yes, I want to talk about Fighter by Len Deighton, another, second of his non-fiction works on the Second World War that actually blew me away. No pun intended. Or maybe it was. Now, most people, of course, associate Deighton with his fantastic Cold War spy novels, whether it's the Ipcress File, Funeral in Berlin, the Bernie Sampson trilogy of trilogies, that kind of thing. But Fighter is something entirely different, well, at least entirely different from them, and it's his account of the Battle of Britain, and I would say it's absolutely first rate for a rather small one-volume work. I mean, I'm sure there are many amazing massive volumes or multi-volume works, but I would say this is absolutely great. Although I am not, I will confess, while I know a bit about the Second World War, I'm by no means an expert on the Battle of Britain. So I've not read a huge number of books on the subject, and you may well disagree with me. But from what I have read on it, it does stand out to me as one of the better ones that I've read. It's a 5-star Corker. You know, I'm not ashamed to say it. You know, it's the kind of book that reminds me why I love reading, and in particular why I love reading history in the first place. So he published this book back in the late 70s. It remains, I think, one of the finest examinations of the Battle of Britain that has been written, at least from the ones I can talk about. What makes it special is that it's not just another patriotic retelling of the few. Instead, I think Deighton goes much deeper in that. He looks at the different systems employed, the personalities, technology, and things behind the conflict. You can tell, of course, he's a novelist. He understands the human side of it all. He brings to life individual pilots, ground crews, commanders, and even the bureaucrats who shape the outcome of the battle, too, as he manages to balance the technical precision, which remains always interesting and never dull, with the real narrative drive. What impressed me most, of course, and I think tends to impress a lot of people when they read this, is the fair and balanced mindedness of it all. Deighton gives just as much attention to the German perspective as he does to the British one, as well as including, of course, the plethora of nationalities who fought on Britain's side in the Battle of Britain. You come away, I think, with a real sense of how evenly matched the two sides really were, which is not what you get if you just get the kind of standard history of the conflict, and that so much really hinged on just a small series, almost, if you like, small series of kind of really accidental factors, which makes it all the more exciting and all the more fascinating, I think. Deighton's research, as with Blitzkrieg, was impeccable. He had access, of course, to official records, technical reports, and first-hand interviews. He owes it, in the book, the introduction is done by the great historian A.J.P. Tailor. The two of them were friends, and it was Tailor who put him on to writing this. I think it's really important that he has these kind of first-hand interviews with people, and he never drowns you in those details. He kind of gives you just enough without kind of overwhelming you, I think. Everything's there to serve the story he's trying to tell, and what a story that is. His writing is crisp, clear, and occasionally, I would say, pretty moving. There's dry humour at times, and I've noticed that also in his novels. He does like to have a bit of humour in there, which I always appreciate. There's also a sense of awe at the courage and the chaos in those few crucial months of 1940. There's also a lot of criticism too, a lot of it aimed at Britain and the way things were run, which were quite, you know, ramshackle, to be honest. You get the feeling that Deighton's slightly in love with the machinery of it all. Again, just enough, not too much. to overwhelm you, but he certainly admires the Spitfires, the Messerschmitts, the radar systems, etc., but never at the expense of the human stories behind it. He reminds us that behind every statistic, I should say, there's a very frightened 20-year-old in the cockpit of a plane, or a tired woman on a radar screen somewhere along the coast of Britain. I couldn't put it down. I found it fascinating. I started it thinking, I'd read a chapter or two before bed of an evening, but actually it did keep me up later than I would have liked. But I think that's a good mark of showing just how compelling a storyteller he is. It's one of those rare history books, but isn't proving so rare in his case, because I think he does help you see an old and perhaps tired, familiar story in a different way. We all grew up, at least people of my generation and older, grew up hearing a lot about the few and Churchill's speeches, but Dayton strips away that myth and shows us the messy human reality behind that legend. And strangely, I think it makes it all the more heroic in some ways. The book captures the best about what is good about history and reading about history, and it's a wonderful example of how to write about history. It informs, it challenges, and I think it inspires. So if you're interested in aviation in the Second World War, just good storytelling, then I can really recommend Fighter to you. In fact, I don't think I can recommend it enough. It's a really, really good book. It's not just for history buffs, it's for anyone who really wants to understand the ordinary people and how they perform under extraordinary pressure, and how these actions can change the course of history. So he may be better known for his spies, but this is proof that he is also, I think, a master, a historian, and the book is a fine, fine example of historical writing. So yes, 5 stars from me, an absolute corker. If you've read it, let me know. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, then just ignore it. Don't give me a thumbs down. And if you want to subscribe, then I will of course be extremely grateful to you. Thanks again for watching. Let me know your opinions in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Do take care, everybody. All the best. Cheerio. Bye for now.